Have you ever had a near-death experience? Or perhaps someone you know may have had a near-death experience? Well, if so, we would love to hear your story and have you as a guest on our podcast. For more information, visit NDE.world. Again, that's NDE.world. We would love to hear your story.
Welcome to the NDE World Podcast, where we explore the magical, mystical, and spiritual world of near-death experiences. And now, Ashton Lewis and Daphne Lynn.
Welcome back to another exciting episode of NDE World. I am your host, Ashton Lewis, and this is my lovely co-host, Miss Daphne Lynn. Hello, Daphne.
Hello, Ashton. How are you today?
I am doing well. It's good to have you here on this episode of our Coco Chat. So, you ready to maybe go ahead and play some NDE, some really cool experiences, and we can comment it and break it down for the listeners and things like that?
That sounds absolutely wonderful. I'm looking forward to it. Because I take away something from every experience that I listen to. It's beautiful for me.
Is.
Some people may think it's morbid or whatever, but I really enjoy it. I feel like it enlightens me, and
it does.
And I feel like I'm glowing when I listen to it. So yeah.
And it's something that's affects all of us as humanity, because
yes.
We're all going to have to go through the door of death. The transition.
Yeah.
You can't get away from it. It's
God,
a group
yeah.
effort thing.
Speaking of death, there is another book I want to get. It's Nicole Kerr. It's You Are Deathless. And
Oh, I remember hearing about her. I've seen a couple of her little clips and things like that on YouTube, I think.
Yes, she's got some really good knowledge. And her story is pretty wild.
You never die, in other words.
Exactly.
And once you understand that you never die, you always are, you always will be, you always exist.
If you want
have nothing to fear.
Take it to Scripture, the Bible God is the God of the living. Come on. Let's put all these pieces together, people, and get a broader perspective on everything.
Get you thinking.
Gain some more knowledge, yeah.
That's right. Well, let's go ahead and roll our first clip. I've got my pen and paper here ready to take some notes, and we'll get it rolling, and we'll break down the elements that really stick out. And again, for those who do not know, we do get these recordings from the NDERF. It's NDERF.org site. And that is a site that was created by Dr. Jeffrey Long, who has been studying the near-death experience phenomena for countless years. He way back with Dr. Moody and all of them.
I want to say in the 70s.
Yes, probably 50 years, easy, So, but anyway, this is actually scientific, actual real experiences, and from an actual site that is scientifically backed up, for all you science nerds out there who like to go with more of the scientific approach. We get you. So, but anyway, let's go ahead and roll with the first clip. How's that sound?
Sounds wonderful. Let's do it.
Let's do it. And we are rolling.
I was being pulled, with my back facing in the direction of the pull, and my face facing the earth. I don't recall seeing the earth. It was a knowing that I was leaving it. It was not that I was in a tunnel. It was that a tunnel was created around me due to the incredible speed that I was traveling. I think about it when I see the white marks that a high-speed jet leaves across the sky. The jet created the marks. It is the same. There is no fear whatsoever in this experience, even though at this point, there was an unknowing of what was happening. It was at this time that I realized I had left my body, that I was dead. I didn't care that this had happened. I was peaceful, the traveling began to slow. And I had a sense that I was arriving somewhere. There were 6 spirits there, and I could clearly see them, wearing the clothes of their day on earth. 5 were males. 1 was a female. I did not know any of them from this life. I knew instantaneously that they all loved me deeply, unconditionally, and knew me thoroughly. I think of them now as my greeting party who came out to meet me at a designated point. I had no thoughts regarding this at the time. I was peaceful, happy, and free. They engulfed me in unconditional love. Everything there is laid bare. There is no shame, guilt, or deceit. It's not possible there. There is total understanding without even experiencing the thought of needing to understand. It is already there, total understanding in perfect clarity. I have to elaborate on this because it is an important difference between our physical reality and the true, after physical death reality. There, at this place, outside of the physical body, everything that you are, feel, think, believe is clear for anyone to see, feel and understand with perfect clarity. It was not what I did in physical life that mattered most. It was who I was, who I am inside, my soul that was more important than any physical thing I did. In other words, it was only who I really was at the time, in terms of my soul, that was most important. That's not to say that all of my life experiences had not significantly contributed to the person I was. They had. The impact of physical actions on the soul cannot be lessened. It's hard to explain. It's as if I might think that I could do bad things or have bad thoughts about others, and it would be okay, as long as I remained a beautiful person inside. This is wrong. It does change your soul, and there's nothing one can do to change that. Physical actions weren't as important as the person, me, that those experiences had created. This is what the emphasis is on when viewing another in this dimension. Now, I couldn't see what the spirits who had greeted me had done in their physical lives. I could see, feel and understand with perfect clarity who they were inside, just as they could see me clearly. All of this happens with feelings/thoughts that occur simultaneously at incredible speed. I could see the mouths moving as they were speaking. But I did not hear the way we hear in the physical world. The element of time as we know it in physical life does not exist. For instance, one of the souls who greeted me said to another soul, in a slow, pleading, pausing way, this sentence, "She's been through so much, and she should be allowed to stay." In physical terms, this would take 15 seconds to say, at the speed with which he said it. However, it doesn't take time there. It's instantaneous, even though I know this sounds strange. The feeling of time is realized by an individual in communication. But time doesn't exist in physical terms. It is the most wonderful language, perfectly clear, perfectly understood, perfectly liberating, and perfectly perfect. I never heard a tone that could identify a specific voice. It's not like that. The tone is there. It's a tone that identifies a specific soul, not something that's physically audible. Now this is going to be hard for you to comprehend. So, I'm really going to try hard. Everything is happening at once, or overlapping at best. Imagine having 1,000 things, and people talking at the exact same moment, and perfectly understanding every detail of all that's going on. I could understand all 6 souls speaking at the exact same time with perfect clarity, as well as knowing the purest depths of their hearts, and a multitude of other things happening and information that I was privileged to receive, all at the exact same instance. There are no doubts about what is said because of the dynamics of the form of communication, souls laid bare, plus you feel it, and know it's the truth. And I never question it. There's no need to. I know instinctively that it's the true form of communication. I instantly feel I've been freed from all the limitations of physical bondage. You feel that you are finally home, where you belong. Now, I never had a memory that this place was home. It was more of an instinctive and intuitive knowing that this is where I belonged. Doubts don't exist there. They're not possible. Everything is perfectly clear knowledge. The greatest emphasis of this experience is love. I am so totally engulfed with a love that does not exist in our physical world. No matter how deep a love you feel for your children, it does not compare with this love. This love is the purest, truest, deepest, totally unconditional love that you could ever imagine. Now, I realize you may be saying, "That's what I feel for my children." I'd say that too. But it goes way beyond what these words can describe. And I think this is because it is communicated to you in the form of feelings. It knocks your socks off. When I received this love, it is not comprehended with my mind. It is felt by the soul. And that immense feeling of this perfect love shoots straight into your heart, as a feeling that you experience. Okay, I'll give you the details of the experience in human terms, although I believe these details are totally insignificant in comparison to the real and important aspects I have tried to explain. Upon arriving at the place where the 6 souls met me, they commenced in loving me via their thoughts/feelings. I felt free, wonderful. They had an extensive conversation among themselves at the same time that was about me being allowed to stay where I do not know. But I was happy to stay right where I was at. There was a deep blue-colored, but not dark feeling, universe around them. It was pleasant. There was no land. It was more like they had come to meet me in a place in the universe where there was no land. But it was not unnatural. Quite the contrary. It felt more natural than Earth. It felt right. I can still see their faces clearly in my memories. The consensus among them was that I should be allowed to stay. I was so happy. There was no way I was going back. No way. I had no doubts about that. I had been released from the limited prison of the physical body. My mind was 1,000 times sharper, free, and able to operate at full capacity, of which I was unaware prior to my death, was possible. The love was incomparable. I would never go back willingly. At the same time, I viewed 1,000 images relating to the universe and simultaneous history. I was not able to comprehend all of them. However, I was granted full comprehension about life, with emphasis on the importance of living life as it is given, and that we are all part of one only. I was not a participant in the conversations that were ongoing about me. I was only an observer. Then the light drew closer, and everyone became aware of it, and their focus shifted to the light. There was a pause as everyone's attention was on the arriving light. A woman came into view who was completely surrounded in the light, the entire visual screen. However, the other 6 souls were not surrounded by the light, only her. This is hard to describe. It's as though only when you looked at her, the entire screen of your vision is filled with light. But when I look at the other souls, they are all surrounded by the blue, pleasant background. The woman, like the other souls, loved me deeply, despite the fact that she had a stern, disciplinarian look on her face. She was dressed in a much older style dress, black, with a matching bonnet. The dress covered every part of her, up to her neck. She was an older woman, with a rugged, weather-beaten face. She was staring straight at me with an unbroken stare. The other souls were pleading with her to allow me to say. She said not one word, thought/feeling. but just continued to stare at me deeply, as if in deep analytical concentration. After the other souls had pleaded to their heart's content, there was a pause. She continued to stare at me, and then said, "She goes back." My heart dropped to the deepest bottom. I finally spoke for the first time, pleading, "No, no, please, no." She was firm. I gave her the heartfelt thought that I would not go. My emotions cried deeply. I would have to be forced. Then I realized that I was hovering above my body. Then next, a nurse was packing ice on my chest and telling me to wake up. I was naked, no sheet. I looked at my body in disgust. I felt nothing for it. The nurse gently, but aggravatingly poked my left arm twice, while saying, "Wake up." Next, I felt incredible pain, realizing I was back in my body. My heart dropped. I felt so let down to be back. The nurse realized I had come to. She repeated, "Open your eyes," several times. Then she started shoving small spoonfuls of ice chips in my mouth, instructing me that my fever was too high, and that I needed to continually eat ice. She kept spooning it in until I passed out.
And we are back. Well,
Wow.
yeah. Nice. Very wonderful story, wonderful experience, and it covers a few different things here. Let's jump straight to the OBE itself. When she went to the actual out-of-body experience, and she described it would be peaceful, happy, and free. And she met these 6 spirits that were, it said, the close of the day on Earth. So they were dressed a certain kind of way. I don't know.
Yeah.
But she did say something about the blue. And remember, we talk about the blue a lot on this program, that there's a direct connection with the blue energy, the blue spirit that has to do with God. Or think about like
Blue
Krishna.
and white light. Yeah.
That's why he's blue, from what I understand, because it represented that blue, that holiness, that pure whatever. But if you notice, you'll see it in movies too. Look for those little clues here and there. Blue lights about this.
Lots
blue,
of movies
this,
with blue, that color blue light. One of my first movies that I think of with that color blue is like John Carter.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and there's so many more movies with that color blue light being portrayed in the movies. So,
Well, you know that she said that there were 5 males, 1 female, and she did not know
any of them.
any of them. She didn't know them from this life, she said. So
Exactly.
a lot of
Yeah.
times you see someone that you actually know, or there's at least something or someone there that greets you, in the sense that, you have a sense of who they are.
Right.
But according to this, she didn't even know who they were. So you've got these 6 beings there, but she did know that they loved her. So that was,
Yes.
and it was that unconditional love that, that they really
Yes.
knew her thoroughly.
I love the fact that she said there's no shame, no guilt, that it's not possible
To
there.
exist there. I know, I have that here as well. That the shame, no shame, guilt, or deceit can exist there.
Exactly.
Think about that. That's why you have to be purified.
Yeah.
I would think.
The purge, man.
The purge. Thank you. That's what I meant to say. That ties in with the actual life review,
Yeah.
and that's when you have to get in there and get that energy balanced out. The bad you put out, you have to bring it back in.
Yeah. Now I noticed
The
in
good
this
you
one
put out, you get it.
Yeah. Now I noticed in this one she actually did not have a life review, so this is it's not. Hang on. So she didn't have a life review, and some of them do, some of them don't. Like we say, no two are alike. So
Right. I didn't really get one in this particular experience.
I didn't either.
She may have, but
she may not
you
have
know,
talked about it. Yeah.
or maybe with the group of beings there, chatting among each other. I wonder if that was the type of life review. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if that would be the actual life review, because the life review, from what I understand, you actually get to stand there and experience it and see the actual and feel the actual what happened with others. So, but yeah, that's awesome. No shame, guilt, or anything like that can actually even exist there.
Exactly.
And what about
Yeah.
that knowingness? Remember, you automatically already know everything again.
Yeah, and the perfect clarity in all that. I mean, she used the example of like a thousands around her and everybody communicating, but you could single out each one and know exactly what was being said. But the understanding, the perfect clarity, and she said that they not comprehended with the mind, but straight to the soul, the heart, that communication.
Yeah. Also, the telepathy as well.
Exactly, yeah.
She said that's how they actually communicated. And she did touch on that time does not exist.
Right, what would take in that sentence that she used, what would take in our linear time, like 15 seconds to say, it was an instant
Everything was
knowing.
happening at once.
Yes.
And really think about that. Everything happening at once. You hear that so much, so often in this actual world of the NDE experience.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. I mean, it's just instant, everything, just beyond what we can comprehend on this side of the veil. I mean, we can get a little small taste of it to possibly understand it. But from what I understand, so many people come back saying it's hard to put into words in the human
You
language
hear that
that
so
we
much because there are no
can truly
words.
comprehend.
Yeah. There's no words to describe the other side, correct. And everything we know, we've given words and meanings to anyway to make sense. Now, to go with that, notice this understanding others with clarity and all at the same time.
Yes.
Me, I go crazy if I got two people talking to me at the same
And you
time.
have to
It's hard.
discern
It's
which
hard
one
for
you're
me to
going to
do
listen
that.
to.
Yeah, I have to have just know. Well, hold on. Okay, Okay, now what were you saying? Okay, and then I can. All right, and then what were other person saying? That's the way my brain works. But imagine being locked in, and you've got everything and everybody all going at once, but you can also understand it. And I think of the analogy of like a computer when you're downloading information or something, and it just all those folders and files and images and everything going just downloading. It's all happening at once. So
Oh, yeah.
it's kind of like this information. Everything gets downloaded and everything is happening all at once, and the connection what you feel with others is it's an all that oneness in the ultimate sense.
Yeah, the connectedness, yeah. That's a beauty. I mean, just to be able to be aware that we are all connected.
Absolutely, and that's what we miss on this side is our connectedness.
Mm-hmm, exactly.
Free from physical bondage. Talking about her body, it says that she felt that she belonged there, and used the expression "home." You will hear that in almost every NDE.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say all, but
Yeah.
that sense of home.
She said that it was a place where there was no land, like out in the universe. But she said it was a more natural feel than Earth, like it was home.
Yeah.
And it just reminds me of my book. I'm telling you, I think there's a lot more to this book than we would like to admit.
It's not just the book, though.
I mean, just
All of
all
these
instances,
experiences
yes.
are having these same
Yes,
things. You're
exactly.
just starting to be exposed to a lot of through that book from different perspectives. That's been out there all this time.
Oh, yeah, and
that's why you can relate to the book easy.
Oh, yeah, and I'm going to say, since I'm reading this book and listening to these stories, the synchronicities in my life and things that are there's higher power out there going and angels working around us. I know there is. I know
Yeah,
there
you
is.
have to acknowledge that for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I like what I said that doubts don't exist there.
Yes. That ties right in with the, let me find where I wrote it down at.
That would
the
be
no guilt,
something-
no shame, that can't exist there.
It can. Those are different frequencies. They're different vibrations. They're all lower.
Exactly. That's why we
frequencies.
have to get our vibration right.
Something to
this
think
side.
about. That's right. You're absolutely right. So now, again, as brought out like in so many others, is the greatest thing is love.
Yes.
Purest, truest, deepest, totally unconditional love ever imagined. Comments?
Yeah, and it's a love that doesn't compare with what we know as love.
Nope.
Not at all. Beyond what we love our children, because we know we love our children unconditionally, but it's a greater love than even that.
Right, right. You can't even, that's just the way we can describe it in human terms.
Exactly, yeah. You was mentioned physical bondage a few minutes ago. When she was on the return, she said she looked upon her body in disgust. So, I mean, that's that physical bondage that, she had to go back to. She was free from that.
You hear that a lot too.
Oh, yes, exactly.
Well, I like how it's brought out, and we kind of touched on it earlier, but she brought it out again. It says it's communicated by feeling, and it felt in the soul straight through the heart.
Yes, exactly. We don't comprehend with the mind, but it goes straight to the soul and heart.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why we have to, on this side of the veil,
feelings,
live in our heart chakra, operate our lives through our heart, not in those lower three chakras, because that's what keeps us in fear. I mean, if we're watching the news and everything all the time, that keeps us in those lower three chakras. We have to raise our vibration beyond those lower three and operate through the heart chakra.
Most
which is
people will
love.
never get past the first one.
You're right. Yeah, most people don't, but there are many out there
That's
that
open.
are.
You
that
started
have.
the road. Yeah. Let's keep going. I'm looking at the time here. No way. Said there's no way I'm going back.
Yeah,
He's
no way
talking about that.
willingly that I'm going back.
Yes.
Yeah, she was so let down when she had to go back.
And I like that she understood that we all are part of the one.
Yes.
And then this next part gets kind of,
Ooh, yeah.
I wouldn't want to say it was spooky, but it's just kind of bizarre because I've never
heard of
not
that.
yet until
Exactly.
until this particular experience, but I haven't heard of any like black beings coming into a
Or wearing
lighted
black.
world or wearing black, or something like that. I'm not saying I haven't. I probably have. May not be recalling it.
Okay.
Just this next character that comes down with the light glowing.
Exactly.
What was you going to say?
That's what I was going to say is that, the other beings were surrounded by the blue color. They noticed the light that was coming, and inside that light was this woman in a black gown, and with a black bonnet.
Yeah. Now she was separate from the six.
And she was separate from the six, and that white light didn't go over into the blue. They didn't mix.
Right.
So
The blues kind of stayed out of the way, huh?
Yeah.
But it didn't say that her light filled up the whole vision, the whole screen, everything she could see was just the woman. But here, he was getting ready to go ahead, if you want to go ahead and finish the description there of the black, and I don't know if there's any symbolism in that, but go ahead.
Yeah,
There's a
that's
few
what I
things
was
that's kind of.
Yeah, being very stern and staring at her, and the words that she said was, "She goes back," a very firm statement.
Right.
So, I my human brain is trying to say, okay, so this is the death spirit, that's in the light because of all cloaked in black, but that's not necessarily
No,
because
it's
I'm
not
thinking
true,
in
yeah.
human terms.
Well, here's something to go with that thought because it is all perspective, right? Always remember one thing about all of this, and this is a key to all of it. This is like, I wouldn't say the key to unlocking the mystery of the OBEs, but it's one of the main keys. And do you want to know what that key is?
What?
I wonder if I should tell you or not.
Oh, come on, share. What's your
I don't
thoughts
know.
on it?
I may just wait. I may just wait to another episode.
Teasers.
Since we're almost out. Yeah, we'll since we're almost out of time. No,
Maybe we can all start thinking on what you're going to be saying.
manifested, huh? Here's the clue, guys. Okay, everything is the one. Everything is the source. Everything is what we call God. Everything is that energy, that pure, that love, that pure bliss, that all. That's what we call the all. The all will manifest itself
The way it needs
any
to.
way it decides to, because it knows you better than you do, because you are it and it is you. So it's going to let appear whatever needs to. That woman, she might have been a stern woman, and the way she talked, like she, I'm fighting. No, I'm not getting out of here. I'm not. She had that sternness about her. I wasn't willing to go out. So she had that, maybe that spunkiness, that determination, and most people do, but some of them seem to fight it more than others. But here it is. You've got now. What if you had like these really cool little cute little angel little creatures came down and said, "Okay, well, it's time to go," and she really would have fought that, but you have this woman coming
needed.
Down, that needed for her.
Yeah.
So I would say that God appeared as, okay,
That spirit.
or that spirit, that's right, appeared as, the bright light, okay, but within that light was that firm,
Right.
the way the woman looked, the way the woman was dressed.
Sounded. Her
So that was
statement.
something very specific to this particular woman's experience that had some kind of significance to her. And I believe that, like when you see Jesus, I believe that's God appearing as Jesus. When you see anyone, it's God appearing as all those.
Right. It's going to appear as what we need, a lesson or something to help us on this side of the veil.
Of course, yes.
I think there's a lesson in all of these.
There is, and the more we really dive into it, you can really start seeing the commonalities of all this stuff. So, speaking of, I'm looking at the clock. I don't want to wrap things up, but we're going to go ahead and wrap this session up, this particular episode, and that's okay. Stay close. We've got plenty more. We love you guys, and peace be with you all. And until next time.
Let your light shine.
For more information about the NDE World Podcast, visit NDE.world. That's NDE.world.